Before the rise of Islam, the world was already full of coins. Great empires used them for trade and to show their power. In the lands of the Middle East, two very important coins were used by everyone. One was a gold coin from the Byzantine Empire, which was the eastern part of the old Roman Empire. This coin was called the solidus. The other was a silver coin from the Sasanian Empire in Persia. This silver coin was known as the drachm. These were the coins people knew and trusted. They were used in markets from the Mediterranean Sea all the way to India. The Sasanian silver drachm was especially common. It was a beautiful and well-made coin. On one side, it had a picture of the Sasanian king, or Shah. The king was shown wearing a grand crown, a symbol of his great authority. This portrait told everyone who was in charge of the land where the coin was made. The pictures on coins were like a signature of the ruler. They helped people to recognize the coin and believe in its value. The quality of the silver was also very good, which made it a popular choice for merchants and traders everywhere. On the other side of the Sasanian drachm, there was another important image. It showed a fire altar, which was a central symbol of the Zoroastrian religion. This was the main religion of the Sasanian Empire. Two figures or attendants stood on either side of the altar, guarding the sacred flame. This image was not just decoration, it was a powerful statement. It connected the king's rule to the gods and the official religion of the empire. It told the world that the king's power was supported by divine forces, making the coin even more respected. So when the first Muslim communities began to form in the Arabian Peninsula, these were the coins they used in their daily lives. The gold solidus and the silver drachm were the money of the time. They were familiar and accepted by everyone. The early Muslims traded with them, paid for goods with them, and saved them. These coins were part of the world they lived in. But as the Islamic community grew into a great civilization, it would soon need a coin of its own, one that would reflect its own unique beliefs and identity. This was the world the dirham was born into. In the early years of Islam, the Muslim community continued to use the coins that were already there. They did not immediately create their own money. The Sasanian silver drachms and the Byzantine gold solidi were the main currencies for all kinds of transactions. When the Muslim armies expanded into new lands, they took control of the mints, the places where coins were made. But for some time, these mints continued to produce coins that looked very similar to the old ones. This was a practical choice. People were used to these coins, and changing them suddenly could have caused confusion and disrupted trade. However, small changes soon began to appear. The Muslims started to add their own marks to the existing coins. On the Sasanian-style silver coins, they would often add a short Arabic phrase in the margins. Phrases like Bismillah, which means "in the name of God," were stamped onto the coins next to the portrait of the Sasanian king. This was a simple, but profound act. It was the first step in making these coins Islamic. It was like adding a new layer of identity onto an old object, a quiet announcement of a new power and a new faith in the land. These early, adapted coins are known as Arab Sasanian coins. They represent a time of transition. They show the old world and the new world existing together on one small piece of silver. The image of the Persian king and the Zoroastrian fire altar were still there, but now they were joined by words of Islamic faith. This mix of symbols shows us how the early Islamic administration was careful and practical. They understood the importance of continuity for the economy, but they also wanted to introduce their own message. It was a clever way to slowly change the world's money. This period of adaptation lasted for several decades. The coins were still mostly Sasanian in their appearance, but they were now being made under Muslim rule. The names of local Arab governors were sometimes added in Pahlavi script, the language of the Sasanians, or in Arabic. These coins are fascinating historical documents. They tell a story of a culture finding its voice. They show a civilization that is confident enough to use the tools of the old empires, but also bold enough to begin reshaping them to fit its own vision of the world. The stage was being set for a bigger change. The big change came during the rule of the Umayyad Caliphate. The Caliph, al-Malik ibn Marwan, was a powerful and visionary leader. He understood that a great empire needed its own unique currency. Relying on coins with pictures of foreign kings and symbols of other religions was no longer suitable for the vast and powerful Islamic state. Around the year 696 CE, Abd al-Malik ordered a complete reform of the coinage. He commanded the creation of a new type of silver coin, one that would be purely Islamic in its design and message. This was the birth of the first official Islamic dirham. This new coin was a radical departure from everything that came before it. All the pictures were removed. The portrait of the Sasanian king was gone. The Zoroastrian fire altar was gone. The images of Christian crosses on Byzantine-style coins were also removed. In their place was something completely new and different: elegant Arabic writing. The entire surface of the coin, on both sides, was filled with inscriptions from the Quran and other religious phrases. This was a bold and revolutionary step. It created a coin that was unlike any other in the world at that time. The new Islamic dirham was designed to be a powerful symbol. It was a declaration of faith cast in silver. The absence of images was a very deliberate choice. It reflected a growing Islamic tradition that was cautious about the use of images of living beings, fearing it could lead to idol worship. Instead of a picture of a ruler, the coin carried the word of God. This meant that the ultimate authority was not a king or an emperor, but God alone. The coin became a messenger, carrying verses from the Quran across the empire and beyond with every transaction. The design was standardized to ensure uniformity and trust. Each dirham had a specific weight, around 2.97 grams of high-purity silver. The inscriptions were clear and precise. On one side, the central text was the Shahada, the core declaration of Islamic faith. There is no God but God. He is one. He has no partner. Around the edge was another message stating where and when the coin was made. This level of detail made the dirham a reliable and trustworthy currency, which was crucial for its success in local and international trade. The choice to use only words on the new Islamic dirham was deeply significant. The Arabic script itself became the main feature of the coin's design. This celebrated the beauty and importance of the Arabic language, the language of the Quran. The elegant Kufic script, with its strong, angular lines, turned the coin into a miniature work of art. It was not just writing, it was calligraphy, an art form that was highly respected in Islamic culture. The coin was no longer just a piece of money. It was a carrier of sacred text, and a beautiful object in its own right. The inscriptions on the dirham were carefully chosen to convey the core beliefs of Islam. The central message on one side, the Shahada, was a clear statement of monotheism, the belief in one God. This was a direct contrast to the coins that came before, which often featured multiple gods or divine rulers. The reverse side of the coin typically had a central inscription taken from Surah al-Ikhlas, the 112th chapter of the Quran. This chapter strongly emphasizes God's oneness, saying, "God is the one, the eternal refuge. He neither begets nor is born, nor is there to him any equivalent." Around the margin of the coin, another Quranic verse was often included. This verse, from Surah At-Tawbah, spoke of the Prophet Muhammad's mission. He it is who has sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth, to manifest it over all religion, although they who associate others with God dislike it. This was a powerful political and religious statement. It declared the supremacy of Islam in a world of many different faiths. The coin became a tool for spreading this message, a small but constant reminder of the faith that guided the empire. The information about the mint and the date of issue was also a brilliant innovation. Written in the margin, it would say, for example, "In the name of God." This dirham was struck in Damascus in the year 77. This made the coins incredibly useful for administrators and historians. It allowed the central government to control the money supply and ensure quality. For us today, this detail provides a precise record of the economic and political history of the Islamic world. It allows us to trace the spread of the empire and the activities of its many mints through these small silver discs. Once the new Islamic dirham was established, it did not stay in one place. It began a remarkable journey, spreading throughout the vast Islamic empire and, honestly, far beyond its borders. The Umayyad and later the Abbasid caliphates controlled a huge territory, stretching from Spain in the west to the borders of India in the east. The dirham became the standard currency across this entire area. Whether you were in a market in Cordoba, Baghdad, or Samarkand, the silver dirham was the money you would use. This created a unified economic zone, making trade easier and more efficient than ever before. The dirham's success was really built on its reliability. The caliphs made sure that the coins were made to a high standard of purity and a consistent weight. People trusted the dirham. They knew that a dirham from a mint in North Africa had the same value as a dirham from a mint in Persia. This trust was the foundation of a thriving economy. Merchants could travel long distances, confident that their money would be accepted everywhere. This economic unity helped to connect the diverse peoples and cultures of the Islamic world, binding them together through the shared language of commerce. The journey of the dirham did not stop at the borders of the Islamic world. It traveled along ancient trade routes to faraway lands. Hordes of thousands of Islamic dirhams have been found in places like Scandinavia, Russia, and Britain. The Vikings, who were great traders and sailors, were particularly fond of the dirham. They valued its high-quality silver and used it as currency or melted it down to make jewelry. For them, the dirham was not a religious symbol, but a source of precious metal and a sign of wealth. These discoveries show the incredible reach of Islamic trade networks during the Middle Ages. The dirham's journey helped to connect different civilizations. It was a bridge between the Islamic world and Europe. The flow of silver from the mines in the Islamic East to the silver-poor lands of the North was incredibly important for the European economy. The dirham was so well known that its name was adopted into other languages. It was a coin that crossed borders, cultures, and religions. Its spread is a testament to the economic power and global connections of the Islamic civilization during its golden age. It was truly a world currency. As the Islamic world grew and changed, so did the dirham. While the basic design of inscriptions only remained for a long time, regional variations began to appear. After the central power of the Abbasid Caliphate started to weaken, independent dynasties and rulers emerged across the empire. These new rulers wanted to show their own authority, and one of the main ways to do this was by putting their own names on the coins. The dirham became a way to declare independence or loyalty. A ruler might add his name alongside the caliph's name to show he was still technically under the caliph's authority. The design of the dirham also evolved in different regions. For example, in North Africa and Spain, the style of the calligraphy might be different from that used in Persia or Central Asia. Some dynasties, like the Samanids in the East, produced dirhams of exceptionally high quality and beautiful calligraphy, which became highly prized. Other rulers might experiment with the layout of the inscriptions, arranging them in new and creative ways. Sometimes, a small symbol or emblem specific to a local dynasty might be added, although the general rule of avoiding pictures of people was usually followed for a long time. The purity of the silver could also change depending on the time and place. During periods of economic strength and access to new silver mines, the dirhams were of very high quality. The Samanid dynasty, for instance, controlled rich silver mines in what is now Afghanistan, and their dirhams were almost pure silver. This made them very popular in international trade. However, at other times, when silver was scarce, or an empire was in decline, rulers might be forced to reduce the amount of silver in their coins. This is known as debasement, and it often led to economic problems. Later on, especially after the Mongol invasions in the 13th century, the rules about coin design began to change more dramatically. Some rulers in Persia and Anatolia, under the influence of Mongol traditions, started to put pictures back on their coins. They might include a portrait of the ruler or symbols like a lion and sun. These coins were still called dirhams, but they looked very different from the purely inscriptional coins of the early Islamic period. This shows how the dirham adapted to the changing political and cultural landscape of the Islamic world over many centuries. The dirham was much more than just a piece of money for buying and selling goods. It was a powerful object with deep meaning in Islamic civilization. Its importance touched upon every aspect of life, from the economy to religion and culture. Economically, the dirham was the engine of a vast and dynamic trade network. Its standard weight and purity made long-distance commerce possible and profitable. It allowed for the creation of complex financial systems, including banking, checks, and contracts, all based on a reliable currency. The dirham helped to create immense wealth and prosperity across the Islamic world. In a religious sense, the dirham was a constant and public declaration of faith. Every time a person held a dirham, they were holding the central tenets of Islam in their hand. The Quranic verses on the coin served as a daily reminder of God's power and the message of the Prophet Muhammad. For a new convert to Islam in a faraway land, the coin was a tangible connection to the heart of the faith. It was also a tool for religious charity, known as zakat. The amount of zakat owed was often calculated based on a person's wealth in silver dirhams, making the coin a key part of fulfilling one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Culturally, the dirham was a symbol of Islamic identity and achievement. The move away from pictures to pure calligraphy was a bold artistic and intellectual statement. It showed the confidence of a civilization that valued the written word above all else. The beauty of the script on the coins showcased the skill of Islamic artists and craftsmen. The dirham was an ambassador for Islamic culture, carrying its art and its language to every corner of the known world. It was a symbol of a sophisticated, literate, and unified civilization. The dirham also played a crucial role in politics. Issuing coins was a fundamental right of a sovereign ruler. To have your name on a coin was to declare your power and legitimacy. When a new ruler came to power, one of the first things he would do was to strike new dirhams with his name. When a challenger wanted to claim a throne, he would mint his own coins to show his intent. The coins became a map of political power. Studying them allows us to understand the rise and fall of dynasties and the shifting loyalties and conflicts within the Islamic world. The dirham perfectly combined the two great forces that shaped the Islamic world, faith and power. It was, at its heart, an expression of religious belief. By removing all images and replacing them with the Word of God, Caliph al-Malik created a coin that was a miniature sermon. It proclaimed the oneness of God, or Tawheed, to everyone who used it, Muslim or not. This was a form of dawah, or calling people to the faith, in a very subtle yet pervasive way. The coin was a constant, silent witness to the principles of Islam, circulating in every market and every home. At the same time, the dirham was an undeniable symbol of state power. The reform of the coinage was a political act. It declared the independence of the Islamic Empire from the old Byzantine and Sasanian traditions. It showed that the caliphate was not just a military power, but a sophisticated state capable of managing a complex economy and creating its own unique cultural symbols. The standardized design and the mention of the mint and date were signs of a strong, centralized administration. The caliph's authority was stamped on every single coin produced across his vast domain. The dirham was a tool used by rulers to communicate with their subjects and with the outside world. The inscriptions could be changed to send specific messages. For example, if a ruler won a major victory, he might choose a Quranic verse about victory to put on his coins. If there was a dispute about who was the rightful heir, a ruler would make sure his chosen successor's name was added to the coinage. The dirham acted like a public announcement or a newspaper, broadcasting the official message of the state to the masses. This blend of religious message and political authority made the dirham incredibly effective. The religious content gave the coin a sense of sacredness and trustworthiness, which encouraged people to accept it. The political content reinforced the ruler's power and the unity of the state. Faith gave the coin its soul, and power gave it its strength. This duality is what made the dirham so successful and so long-lasting. It was not just a piece of silver, it was the embodiment of the worldview of Islamic civilization, where faith and worldly governance were seen as two sides of the same coin. The journey of the historic silver dirham may have ended centuries ago, but its legacy is still very much alive today. We can see its echo in the modern world in many surprising ways. One of the most direct legacies is in the names of currencies used in several countries today. Nations such as the United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Tajikistan, and Armenia all have a currency called the dirham or dram. The name itself is a direct link back to the ancient silver coin that once dominated the trade of the old world, a reminder of a shared economic and cultural history. The dirham also lives on in the field of numismatics, which is the study and collection of coins. The silver dirhams of the Islamic world are highly sought after by collectors and historians. Each coin is a small piece of history, a primary source that tells us about the past. Because they are often marked with the place and date of minting, they allow historians to map the economy of the medieval world with incredible precision. Huge hordes of dirhams found around the globe continue to provide new insights into trade routes, political changes, and cultural connections from over 1,000 years ago. The cultural impact of the dirham is also significant. The decision to use calligraphy instead of images had a lasting influence on Islamic art. It elevated the status of the written word and helped to cement calligraphy as one of the most important art forms in Islamic culture. The dirham was a piece of art that everyone could own. This artistic tradition, which values abstract patterns and beautiful writing over figurative images, can still be seen in the art and architecture of the Muslim world today. The dirham was a pioneer of this aesthetic. Finally, the dirham reminds us of a time of incredible global connection. The story of this small silver coin is a story of a connected world, where goods, ideas, and cultures traveled over vast distances. It challenges the idea that our modern era is the first age of globalization. The dirham shows us that a sophisticated and far-reaching global economy existed more than a millennium ago, with the Islamic world at its vibrant center. The humble dirham is therefore not just a relic of the past, it is a testament to a rich and complex history whose influence continues to shape our